Hello, sleepy friend. Tonight, let's drift into the quiet corners of history, where some kings ruled with so little excitement that the world almost forgot they existed. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let these stories guide you gently into sleep. Story 1. King Louis XVI, the Hesitant King. Our first king is Louis XVI of France. He inherited a powerful throne, yet he was never ready for it. While other kings led wars or expanded empires, Louis hesitated. He spent hours in his study, reading, thinking, doubting that he loved locks and keys more than ruling a country. In fact, he once spent days designing a new type of door lock instead of meeting with his advisors. The people around him whispered that he was kind, but far too indecisive. And in the end, his hesitation led him to the guillotine, one of history's most dramatic endings for one of its most boring kings. Pause, slow breath. Take another deep breath. Let's move to the next sleepy tale. Story 2. Emperor Go-Momozono, the Forgotten Emperor. In 18th century Japan, there was an emperor named Go-Momozono that he ruled during a peaceful time. No wars, no scandals, no big reforms. He signed a few papers, attended rituals, and tried his best not to upset the powerful shogunate. Most people outside the royal court didn't even know who he was when he died young. Only a few pages of history books mentioned his name. A ruler so quiet that even history nearly forgot to write him down. Pause. Whisper tone. Are you feeling sleepy yet? If not, here's one more gentle tale to help you drift off. Story 3. King Charles XIII, the Unwanted King. Our last king tonight is Charles XIII of Sweden, but he never really wanted the throne. And the people didn't really want him either. He became king only because there was no one else at the time. He signed treaties, smiled at nobles, and mostly stayed out of trouble. It is said he preferred his quiet dinners and long naps over royal meetings. When he died, the Swedish people politely thanked him for not making any mess, and they quickly moved on to the next ruler. Closing, and now, dear listener, let these forgotten kings guard your dreams tonight. May your sleep be more exciting than their reigns ever were. Good night and sweet dreams. Story 4. King Louis XVIII of France. Before you drift off completely, sleepy friend, let's meet one last king. His name was Louis XVIII of France, brother to Louis XVI. When the French Revolution ended, Louis XVIII returned to the throne, but he didn't want excitement. He was tired of revolutions, tired of drama. He spent most days reading, eating rich food, and trying to keep the peace. He was so cautious that people called him the king who sat still. No grand speeches, no bold wars. He ruled quietly, died quietly, and slipped out of memory. Just another gentle chapter in France's restless history. Perhaps being forgotten was exactly what he wished for. Story 5. King Ferdinand VII of Spain. Long ago in Spain, King Ferdinand VII ruled twice. He lost his throne, got it back, and then ruled again. Yet still managed to do almost nothing of note. He spent years fighting to keep power, but never really used it to help his people. He canceled new ideas, banned newspapers, and refused change. The people waited for reforms that never came. When he died, Spain was stuck. Just as quiet, just as backward. History moved on. Ferdinand stayed behind, a king so dull that many Spaniards try to forget him. Story 6. King George I of Greece. Next, let's drift to Greece. George I wasn't even Greek. He was Danish, but crowned king of Greece in the 19th century. He promised progress, but preferred family dinners and polite visits. When uprisings came, he stayed silent. When reforms were needed, he let his ministers argue. He ruled for decades, yet few can name his achievements. Today, he's just a footnote in dusty royal lists, another gentle figure fading away with time. Story 7. King Louis Bonaparte of Holland. Finally, sleepy friend, meet Louis Bonaparte, the brother of Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon made him king of Holland to spread French power. Louis, however, just wanted to be like. He refused to obey Napoleon's orders. He learned Dutch, handed out gifts, and made small local rules that barely mattered. Napoleon called him the Dutch King of Nothing. Louis ruled a few years before Napoleon removed him. He spent the rest of his life quietly reading books, far from any battlefield. Story 8. King Henry VI of England. Long ago, England had a king named Henry VI. He became king as a baby, a crown too heavy for his tiny head. When he grew up, he was kind, shy, and deeply religious. But he hated arguments, feared battles, and trusted everyone too easily. While nobles fought for power, Henry read prayers. While armies marched, he hid away, hoping for peace. His gentle nature made him powerless in a brutal time. Eventually, he was captured and quietly killed, remembered as the king who could not rule. Story 9. King John of Bohemia. Next, travel with me to medieval Bohemia. King John was born into power but cared more for jousting tournaments than politics. He traveled from court to court, hunting, feasting, and showing off his fancy armor. At home, nobles ruled in his name, sometimes wisely, sometimes not. He went blind later in life but still rode into battles he could not see. When he died, his country had barely changed, his legacy mostly forgotten. Story 10. King Charles II of Spain. Finally, sleepy friend, meet Charles II of Spain. Born into the powerful Habsburg family, Charles suffered from generations of inbreeding. He was sickly, slow to speak, and barely involved in ruling. Advisors made every decision while he sat quietly in gloomy palaces. He left behind no heirs, no reforms, no stories of greatness, only a collapsing dynasty. Spain fell into chaos after he passed, the last quiet page in a troubled chapter.